Welcome to Songwriters from Here and Away. This is the show that focuses on new and established songwriters from Atlantic Canada, across Canada, and around the world. Hello, I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for tuning in. My name's Robert Campbell. The other day, I happened to get out to see Charlie Acourt, and I recorded some of the songs, and the next day, got together for a coffee around his kitchen table. We had a chat and shared some stories, and Charlie talked at length about various issues. Here today, I'm going to include as much as I can. So this podcast episode will go a little long, but it's got lots of great stuff from Charlie and lots of songs too. So we'll jump right in with the first song from his concert. Here we go.
Jumping out, Jenny wants to drive a penny down the rock and roll electric machine. It's Friday night and she's looking alright, and she wants to dance away with me. Wait till she meets my two left feet and a rhythm that is ready to go. Said you never know what'll happen down here when you're dancing out the dirty road. Jimmy legit and his fist won't quit when he's got one thing on his mind. He's looking for the fellow who called him yellow. Figured he was way out of line. The band was jumping while Jimmy was thumping on that man from left to right. After they fought and the beer was bought, they was friends by the end of the night. In the corner with Jenny when she told me that her daddy was a county judge. I said, honey, ain't that funny? I bet he don't get out much. Well, it goes to show that everybody knows the dirty old, it ain't no joke. 'Cause I watched his honor fall right off, drinking double rum and coke. And a kid named Brody, they was looking for a little J. Blow off steam, if you know what I mean. I thought that it was all okay. The police showed up right on time, and man, they wasn't messing around. 'Cause one cop cuffed me while the other roughed me up and took us all downtown. He was caddy-shacking in the paddy wagon, heading on down the line. We all assumed that we were doomed, so we might as well have us a time. Sitting in the slammer, feeling hammered with a headache that just won't budge. We never guessed who walked right in, sure enough it was a county judge. Judge said something, now listen here, mister, 'cause I got a couple things to say. When the week is done and I want my fun, the dirty O is where I play. You can keep your big mouth shut about anything you might have seen. I won't have to lock you up tonight, and you won't have to see me mean. Next time you come rolling through town and you're looking for a place to stay, bring your honey, your money, your alibi. Just remember what I have to say. 'Cause you could spend a week some night and never ever want to go. You never know what'll happen down here when you're dancing out the dirty road. dancing at the dirty O. When you're dancing at the dirty O.
Then there's always, like, my grandfather always had this saying that there's room for slip twixt cup and lip. I don't know if you ever heard that.
No.
So from, it shouldn't be assumed that from the time I take that mug off the table that it's going to reach my mouth.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
There's room for slip twixt cup and lip.
That's great.
And
That's a good line.
I should have had that in the back of my head for last night because I think last night was an absolute first in my career to have somehow stepped on an XLR line and disconnected it. I've never had that happen. And I couldn't, in the moment, and we were talking about this after the show, I was like, in the moment,
you couldn't comprehend the fact that that could happen.
Well, it's not, you go into troubleshoot mode right off the bat, right? But at the same time, you still have a show to perform. And so, you're
managing a lot of mental pieces.
Moving parts.
And it wasn't until, and so I'm looking at everything that's directly in front of me. I never thought to look behind me to go, oh, are you kidding me?
When you were talking last night, you mentioned when you came to the city. Where did you grow up?
I grew up just outside Truro. When you start heading north out of Truro, if you were heading towards Tattamagush, one of the first communities you hit is North River, and then you would start climbing Nutby Mountain to get over to Kemptown and Tattamagush. Just as you're at the base of Nutby Mountain, there's two little settlements. On the right-hand side of Highway 311 is Mackenzie Settlement, and on the left-hand side is McCollum Settlement, and that's where I grew up. It's a little more established now. I mean, it's not, it's a lot of generational homes there, but there's been some new builds over the last 10 years.
Right.
A settlement of maybe 50 or 80 people. It's not a big spot at all. And so the houses are far apart. You're not disturbing anybody, and but also at the same time, everyone knows everyone because of the nature of a small settlement. So that's where I grew up.
There we go. We'll do with that and then see how we go from there. let you know you got yourself a fool. You could change my name. Well, call me Honeydew. Honeydew this, oh, honeydew that. Honey, go and buy me a pink Cadillac. Said if this is love, I would rather have the blues. Oh, if this is love, I would rather have the blues. Oh, if this is love, I would rather have the
And that's, you know, I've always seen it as a bit of a fortress of solitude in that sense. Like when I've wanted to unplug and hide away for a little while and go, you know, just kind of remind myself.
Is there still roots up there?
Oh yeah, there? Yeah. My dad has the homestead up there.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's a beautiful beautiful getaway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love going there. I'm heading back up there today, as a matter of fact.
Right. Yeah. Help them out.
Yeah.
Good. When did you move here?
I had moved here in the spring of 2000. And you're right, because to me, Halifax was the big city at the time, growing up in Truro. That was the natural evolution. I had started playing in bars when I was like 17, 18.
Right.
Because you can have underage entertainment as long as there's a guardian of some sort. Mm-hmm. I don't think it said anywhere in the fine print that your guardian couldn't also be your bandmate.
Yeah, right.
So because Dad plays guitar, he and I did this thing called the Eight Court Mountain Boys. We would
doing
play
country stuff, bit of rock,
country, rock, blues.
Whatever.
You know, it was all like 60s, 70s rock with some some stuff like April Wine thrown in there for good measure. And Dad would play 12-string acoustic, and I would be on a 6-string electric Silvertone.
Right.
And that was our presentation. We would play Friday and Saturday nights. And to be 16, 17, 18 in high school, to do that in small town Truro, it was
fantastic.
It was great because I think back high school years, and some of the kids would be like, "Oh yeah, my parents are out of town this weekend. We're gonna have a big blowout at the," thinking that they were doing something super rebellious, and we're going to have a party and they're not going to know. Do you want to come? And I'd be like, oh, I can't. I'm playing at a bar that you're not old enough to get into. But have fun with your house party.
The bars I used to have to sneak into to get my 25-cent draft.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Remember how at the beginning of the night I said love songs come in different forms? Well, I meant it. I don't sing this song too often. But after the last 20 minutes, it seems as good a place of any. I hope I get to heaven, though I haven't earned the right. Searching for forgiveness, and it ain't easy to find. Peter grabs his coffee and heads out on a break. Peter isn't looking, I could slip in through the gate, singing their song won't save my soul. The choir kept on preaching, my sins have been atoned. If I I climb a mountain and look out from the peak. See the angels flying higher than I could ever reach. I'm singing this song, won't save my soul, but the choir keeps on preaching. My sins will be atoned. Guess I'll wait for judgment on my dying day. The sentence that I'm handed, I will gladly pay. Singing this song hasn't saved my soul. Choir keeps on preaching. My sins would be atoned. Singing this song won't save my soul. The choir keeps on preaching. My sins would be atoned. Welcome home. Thank you. That's off of a record called Triumph and Disaster, and that album came out in 2012, and the album itself was a bit of a love letter to Rudyard Kipling and the poem If. Are we familiar with the poem If? Yeah? Awesome. Yeah, some of you. Okay, that's great. If you're not familiar with Rudyard Kipling or the poem If, Rudyard Kipling, of course, probably most famously author of The Jungle Book. And but the poem If is just a remarkable benchmark of what humanity should and does strive to be the better of. And there's some really great lines in it. But he's not around anymore. I can say that I have written a song with Rudyard Kipling. And it's very, very cool to be able to say that. Like if you're familiar with SOCAN, that's the company in Canada that songwriters, we register our songs when we create a new piece of music, and we register it with SOCAN, and that's how we can collect royalties for when we perform it and when it gets used on radio or TV and blah, blah, blah. And so if you, when you go to SOCAN, you look up the catalog and you look up this next song under Charlie Acorn, under co-writers it says Charlie Acorn, Chris Kirby, Rudyard Kipling. It's very, very cool. The whole second verse, if you're familiar at all with the poem, I don't want to give it away, but the second verse of this song is entirely lifted from, it's adapted, but it's pretty much lifted from the, as an excerpt from the poem If, and this is called Sun Is Gonna Shine. hard to get around. I'm looking for a place I can lay my burden down. Love surrounds me. It's strong, it's simple, it's pure. And no matter what might stand against me, one thing I know for sure, sun is gonna shine. Sun is gonna shine when the rain is done. Sun is gonna shine. Sun is gonna shine when the rain is done. Oh no. I've heard the truth I've spoken, twisted by knaves and trapping fools. Seen many things in my life get broken, built them back up with worn out tools. Sun is gonna shine. Sun is gonna shine when the rain is done. Sun is gonna shine. Sun is gonna shine when the rain is done. The work is hard, but it's worth it. So keep believing, and I promise. Sun is gonna shine. Well, 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 well. Sun is gonna shine. Sun is gonna shine when the rain is done. Sun is gonna shine. Oh, sun is gonna shine. Shine when the rain is done. Sun is gonna shine. Sun is gonna shine when the rain is done. Oh. No, no, no. Ooh. Thank you very much.
You're listening to Charlie Acord on
so
Songwriters
much.
from Here and Away. We've got some more interview segments and some more songs coming up. But while I've got you here, wanted to point out that we are online. We'd love you to search us out, link up, hook up, like, share, do all that stuff on the socials. Songwriters from Here and Away, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook.
I knew that Halifax was where I wanted to come to after that chapter, and
Well, it's the best grounding to play a couple of 3 nights a week or whatever and do cover tunes.
Yeah.
You learn so much.
And at the time, yeah, you're right, because at the time, I moved here in 2000, and in those early 2000s, the open mic scene in Halifax was so tremendous. And you know, there's still some really cool open mics that are happening around the city, but there was a real treasure trove of open mics, and you could grab a copy of The Coast, and they would from Monday through to
Sunday.
maybe, yeah. Well, I mean, this certainly had 7 nights of entertainment, but specifically at least Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays, you could bet your bottom dollar that there would be some really happening open mics. Not just the ones where there might be 3 people sitting in the bar and 2 of them are waiting to get up to sing. These were like
Packed.
The Tuesday night open mics at the Tickle Trunk were probably the hottest in the city. And that was Dale Letcher, who used to host them. He's the singer and guitar player with Big Fish. And he would host these open mics, and the Tickle Trunk would be just sardined packed from the time it would start until well after midnight, with a list of 20, 25 people waiting to get up to sing 2 or 3 tunes.
Right.
And that was the sort of era that everyone from Matt Mays and Jen Grant and Rose Cousins, Ashley Moffat, Ben
people,
Ross, like
they're all cutting their teeth in the open.
That was it. That was, as songwriters, that was where they were testing out their material.
Yeah.
And so, I'd get to go up and I'd sing some tunes and get to be a part of it all and kind
meet people too.
And meet people because oh man, it was off the back of that I was able to start getting on breakfast television or even playing other clubs around the city, and it snowballed from one gig into another, and that was after having busked for like 6 or 7 months before I was able to get into a club on a regular basis. And I love looking back on those first couple of years.
Yeah, it's great. I was on the way to the gig last night. I stopped by Colleen's and said, "Oh, yeah, I'm going over to the concert to record Charlie Acorn." And I said, "Oh man, I remember seeing him on the street and busking when he was like 16." Or whatever.
Yeah, I love people's recollection of that because it just makes me younger. Yeah. I'm like, if their memory of doing that was when I was 16, then fantastic.
Yeah. And it was great, right? Yeah. It was funny. I said, yeah, well, he's been around, I guess.
Yeah. It's funny because I'm 45, and in some regards, it feels like I'm just getting going.
Yeah.
In other regards, it feels like
it's been a long century.
It's been a long century. Yeah, this is the longest Monday I've ever lived. Yeah.
want is for you to be all I need. All I want is for you to be all I need. All I want is for you to be all I need. All I want is for you to be all I need. Thank you very much. I'm going to take a little break, but we got another set for you. We'll see you in a little bit. Thanks, everyone.
That was the end of Charlie's first set, and now back to the interview.
When did you start songwriting? Early on?
Yeah, I guess I had started songwriting when I was... I would have been in my teens, because I was, at the time, growing up, listening to music. I started out with listening to blues and soul and that sort of thing.
Right.
But for me, it was always... because I was growing up in the 90s, on radio in Truro, there was a big resurgence of singer-songwriters being played on the radio.
Oh, okay.
And, Bruce Springsteen had come out with, I think it was the Human Touch. Tracy Chapman was, coming out with
Fast Cars
and all that stuff at the time. Melissa Etheridge was huge on the radio in the 90s.
Yeah, she's got the real...
And so from a songwriting standpoint, that always grabbed my attention. And then that sort of sent me down the rabbit hole of going through Dad's record collection and listening to, putting on a 10 Years After album to, listening to John Prine, or putting on Dad even had some Dutch Mason albums.
Right.
So I'd throw on a Dutch or a Matt Minglewood album and listen to, get a sense. And Dad was always very proud to say, these people this is Nova Scotia music that you're listening to. And that always was a cool sentiment, because it was giving me an indication that there was a caliber of songsmith coming out of Nova Scotia before I was ever in the industry and could really know who the writers were here.
It gave you something to identify with.
Absolutely,
right?
It did. Yeah. And I was always gravitating towards the female voice. I think it was because of the vocal range, listening to falsetto and that sort of thing. Because at the time, I had a voice that could do that as a teenager, and I could sing in the higher registers before my voice was developing. But then when I started listening more and more to soul music, and I'm hearing men in soul music going into some sort of other range,
stratosphere.
Yeah, not knowing it was called falsetto.
Yeah,
and then coming across it and going, oh my God, this sounds amazing. It like all these doors sort of unlocking all at once in what was possible. So some of the first songs, I think, like the majority of songwriters, they probably came off sounding pretty juvenile, but it's, you're creating a form. You're learning how to work within a structure of building a song. But a few songs actually out of that ended up going on the first record when Color Me Gone came out in 2002. So by the time 2002 came around, like, I graduated high school in 97. And it wasn't until 2002, 5 years later, when I put my first record out. So there had been lots of writing in between there, but there had been a couple songs from my teenage years where I wanted to hold on to, and one of them was a rock song called "You Got a Friend in Me," not to be confused with
the other one,
Mr. Newman. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when that ended up, originally when we went into the studio to record that, I had been contemplative of whether to throw it in the mix or not. And in fact, it ended up being the last song that we tracked for the record. And by the time the record was done and everything, and it was all manufactured, it ended up being the lead single off of the NQ104 here, and a bunch of stations, other stations, they picked it up, and you know they were playing it a lot, and it was heartwarming. It was very encouraging.
We're all still here. Yeah! That's beautiful. Thanks so much, everyone, for. I like to have a good time. I like to have a few laughs. But I really, really want to say thank you for choosing to be here tonight. You could have chosen to stay home. And which, we got comfortable doing after a few years. So when, as much as we crave live music, we're all creatures of habit. And so sometimes when we got used to staying at home, we just stay at home, enjoy music, and feel connected for a few hours. And that I never, ever, as long as I walk the face of this earth, never take for granted. So thank you for being here tonight. Big thanks to David and the whole staff and crew here and the volunteers at Port Wallace United. Had some great conversations during the break. Some great memories that were brought to mind, and a few requests. And the time when you and we went out dancing in the rain. Then I thought I'd die laughing, child. Funniest thing I'd ever seen. You looked up at the stars and wondered how far it was to your dreams. It's never as far as it may seem, as long as you believe. Your light and you might find the flame burns brighter than the fire. Oh, tonight, Josephine, you have taken the best of me. Your fool, just don't go and hang me out to dry. Say, let's see the world. You be the boy and I will be the girl. You be my rock, I'll be your pearl. Yeah, let's fall in love. Come on, let's fall in love. In the morning when you wake, pray the heavens not to take our lives. The fight's worth more than the prize, so don't hang up your gloves. All these things you said to me are just a distant memory. Oh, tonight, Josephine, you have taken the best of me. I will be your fool. Just don't go and hang me out to dry. July, Josephine, you have taken the best of me. I will be your fool. Just don't go and hang me out to dry, Josephine. I would give most anything. I won't bet in time your heart will find its way back home tonight, Josephine.
Getting the regional stuff to gain traction has always been difficult. It's the old saw, you got to go away to make it, right?
Yeah. I've encountered that many times, and I felt that pull also many times especially as a younger man. I thought that Halifax was a stopover,
Right.
for a few years.
Maybe I'll be in Toronto or L.A. or New York.
Exactly, or
right?
Memphis or Austin.
Yeah.
Some great music scenes, or maybe, who knows, maybe even go to London.
Right.
And see that part of the world.
Well, you went to Australia.
Yeah, I've been there
Good tour
a
there?
few times there.
Couple times?
Yeah, I think I'd been there probably about a dozen times over the 2010s, and unfortunately, I haven't been back since the pandemic. But that I think by and large, all of that has
Faded away.
now, and so those doors are relatively open to do international traveling again. So that's something that's on the horizon. That's always been, to be able to get back to full on international touring is all part of the master plan. But it's been really important to deal with regional and national.
Sure. Yeah. Well, there's a saying that I think it was a Xerox training course or something about mining your own acre of diamonds. Like there's a lot right in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
If you pay attention to it.
That's true.
And it's the trick is figuring out how to mine it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Because a friend of mine who I collaborate with and who's 1/3 of this latest project, Lloyd Spiegel from Australia.
Yeah.
He's been back and forth to Canada quite a few times over the last 18 to 24 months.
Right.
And so, clearly it's possible. And so, that's only just a matter of time. But again, harking back to my grandfather, who had another expression that you shouldn't be off tending to the cottage while your house is on fire.
Right.
Right. and I kind of see that, for me, that making a whole lot of sense, because to be able to reassure and reaffirm, not just to the regional audiences and fans and presenters, but certainly those on the national level, that I'm still here.
Right.
And some aren't. Some have chosen for what they perceive as greener pastures, and on both sides of the microphone,
Right.
whether they work in a performing arts center or whether they're performing themselves. But I think the vacuum that has left, in a sense, is naturally being filled by those who are up and coming. But for those who were here before the pandemic, I think it's been, for me, really important to let the public and let the fans and the presenters know that I'm still here before I start, going off to
Right.
outside the borders.
To keep the strength local.
Yeah, and that's been really helpful because it's allowed me to reconnect with a lot of fans in some really great ways. I mean, last year with this tour, we were able to do a national tour, and to get 26 presenters
with Susie Vinnick, Lloyd Spiegel,
that's
and
right.
Michelle. Yeah,
I mean, to have Susie and Lloyd and I together, just our 3 individual calendars sync up is one thing.
Yeah.
Then you try to get 26 national presenters on the same calendar.
Line up.
Like, that's tricky at the best of times. Doing that coming out of the pandemic where not all presenters were using the same playbook in order to come back, right? Because some were choosing to do a hybrid of contracts that they already had in the hopper,
right,
plus booking new stuff. Or some of them were like, I've had to cancel way too many shows and reschedule them, so I'm just cutting my ties and starting fresh with all new programming.
Right.
And some presenters went the other way, where it was, I've got these contracts in the hopper, I've got to get through this backlog before I start thinking about new programming. And so you had this real hodgepodge of presenters really doing their best to try to be consistent with presenting to their communities. The hump of that is behind us now, which is nice. And so, the idea that international touring can come back onto the plate is in my particular case, I think is more viable than say if we had this conversation 12 months ago.
Baby, I can't take it anymore. Baby, yes, I can't take it anymore. Please tell me, what are we looking for? There's got to be a change. Said I know there's got to be a change. We can't drown our fears in this fancy champagne. And crawling up front, you can't give me jail and call it my home. All this time we've been loving in vain. Chains of gold, our chains just the same. All I've ever wanted, someone to love me for myself. Said all I've ever wanted is someone to love me for myself. Oh, but this ain't love. No, it's something else. Calling up from, you can't give me jail, call it my home. All this time we've been loving in vain. Chains of gold, our chains just the same. Well, we're drawn to one another, like moths to the flame, and we hold each other hostage, though we're both to blame. give me jail and call it a home. All this time we've been loving in vain. Chains of gold, our chains just the same. I said chains of gold, our chains just the same. I said chains of gold, our chains just the same. Chains of gold, our chains just the same. Thank you very much.
You're in the studio now. We got some good players with you.
I'm so excited to be back in the studio, Robert. Oh, my Lord. Working with Chris Kirby again, who...
Excellent.
I mean...
Fabulous multi-instrumentalist and producer and
songwriter.
Yeah, great songwriter. Yeah.
And so he's in the captain's chair, producing the album. And Kev Corbett on bass.
Nice.
Serkan Swar on drums.
Yeah.
And
lovely percussionist.
Yeah, great. And a beautiful human being. And a newly minted Canadian, I should point out. Yeah.
Good.
And a father for the second time. Just had his second, him and his wife had their second baby.
Fantastic.
And so his empire's growing. That's wonderful to see. And so we're in that phase of the recording where once we get my stuff down and Chris is going to be playing keys.
Get all the beds sorted.
Yeah, that we're going to look at where the pockets are that we've created for other musicians to come in and add some stuff.
Good.
So that's exciting. And but from the writing standpoint of this album, I'm feeling more and more that this is some of the closest to me, insights into me type of writing that I've allowed myself to do.
Tapped into the core somehow?
Well, I think there's, when I look back on other projects, and I mean, I'm very proud of those songs because I love singing them and I love how they make people feel. But a lot of those songs, I think I came to with a somewhat guarded approach. You know, I'd want to invest some of myself into it as a writer, right. But I don't think I ever allowed myself wholeheartedly to get in
vulnerability,
like a defensive thing. You know, last year was a really trying year for losing a lot of friends and family through the course of 12 months, and so dealing with a lot of grief from that. And some of it was really not. Some of it was expected. Some of it's kind of you look at it, oh, that's a circle of life. Others were very traumatic and sudden. And so to be where I am in my life right now and kind of dealing with a lot of that, I had, you know, it's inevitably those thoughts for me just kind of then seep out into other areas of my life that I reflect on.
And as you process through grief and loss, it causes all your emotions to become somewhat heightened, and you touch those other parts that aren't just grief and loss. This happy, sad, all those other emotions that you find are also very vulnerable and very open to you, I think.
I think as a species, we're pretty adept at pushing down, repressing emotions and feelings on certain issues and topics and instances and occurrences in our lives that we'd rather try to forget through the sands of time.
And when you get into the writing room, it's nice to let those defensive mechanisms fall away and let the inside out.
And you know what? I agree with you. And a lot of times, if you're writing with other people, sometimes that doesn't happen. It doesn't come naturally.
Yeah, and so you've been doing a lot of co-writing. I do a lot of co-writing.
Yeah.
not everyone works,
No.
right? And there's a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
And
that's great. Yeah. You know, when there's a willingness to say, okay, well, let's see what we come up with, and then, you know, so we didn't get it quite across the finish line. Okay,
let's try another one.
Let's try another one, or you know, this was fun, but you know, we'll see each other at the next music conference or something like that type of thing. But in this particular case, with this batch of writers that I've worked with, and some of them I've worked with on other projects, and so that helped already kind of soften the idea of really letting my guard down.
misery and doubt. try and take me back? I said, Caroline, don't you try and take me back? 'Cause you love that ain't true, baby. I know that, baby. Natural fact. Caroline, ooh, I know you running round. I said, Caroline, ooh, I know you've been running round. No, you put me out. And the cold, cold, cold ground. Well, 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 well. Oh, no, 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 Thank you so much.
Thrilled that San Palorino is coming out, and
Right.
it's the name of the album.
So you release it later in the fall?
It's gonna come out in the fall.
Yeah.
I'm gonna work to put out a few singles beforehand, and go through the machine of the promo.
Yeah.
Try
so
to.
you have a team working with you.
I've been working hard to build a team of people who I really admire, because that's the other aspect of this, is that I've been so used to
flying solo.
flying solo, and not because I want to. It's been out of circumstance. I've had lots of great professional relationships over the years, but again, some life sometimes happens, and some of those folks have passed away, unfortunately.
And the last 4 years hasn't been kind to anybody in the
No,
universe.
no, and so I feel like the coach of a hockey team, where it's you go up to the press conference and you put your best foot forward, but you're basically telling everyone this season's a rebuilding.
Yeah.
We're rebuilding season, and maybe we'll make the playoffs.
Yeah.
The whole jack of all trades, master of none adage, and of course it's a much longer adage. The idea of it being is that when you're working when you work as a DIY musician or DIY anything as an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
and as a self-employed person, you're wearing so many hats.
Yeah.
And I feel from my personality, and not everyone does this. There's lots of people who are really successful at it, but I find that my artistry suffers when I'm wearing too many administrative hats, because it zaps all the energy. I have no motivation to sit down and write anything if I'm spending all my time doing spreadsheets and
There's a lot of distractions.
a lot of distractions.
Yeah.
They're necessary distractions.
Yeah.
They're distractions that enable me to keep the career going. But the pinnacle of that should be the songs that allow my career to keep going.
Your songs, and you're performing, and you're doing the gig.
And so, I'll wear the hats when I have to, but I really don't want to do it alone. I don't want to be an island. Yeah. And so I'm excited to work with someone who can work on strategic marketing,
Right.
and someone who can work on grant writing, and someone who
Booking the gigs.
all that stuff. So
It's getting there then.
it is getting there, and I'm really excited by the prospects of it. I know it doesn't go like that. I know that now after 20 years.
Yeah.
So I'm not putting that same kind of pressure on those people. At least I don't think so. But I think everyone has realistic expectations of where we want to be in 12 months.
Right.
Yeah.
She moves my soul in ways I could never imagine, and her kindness, it is rivaled only by her compassion. And when I'm lost, she's the hope that leads me home. I know, but for her, I would walk through this world alone. You are all I need in my life, my lover, my friend, my wife. And there are those I have known who would turn their back on love, 'cause they are blinded and misguided. They believe they can live alone. They don't know how love can change your world. And you have shown me so much joy. I would never turn back now. You have stood right there by my side, my lover, my friend, my wife. You are all I need in my life, my lover, my friend, my wife. And here we are, hand in hand. We go together just like toast and jam. So today, as we marry, I'll stand here, my head held high. For I will always be your husband, and you'll always be my wife. I can see our son in your eyes, my lover, my friend, my wife. You have stood right there by my side, my lover, my friend, my wife. You were all I need in my life, my lover, my friend, my wife. applause for coming out tonight. God bless.
That was the last song of the show, but Charlie did open up with an instrumental song, and I've included it here on the podcast version of the show, as well as a little more chat. Thanks for tuning in. Please check out www.sfhaa.ca, Songwriters from Here and Away. Thanks.
Well, you know, your foundation, the Musical Excellence, how does that work?
I call it CASM, but it stands for the Charlie Acorn Scholarship for Excellence in Music.
Yes.
And so I launched that in 2017.
Yeah.
That's partnered with the Department of Education. So they have a larger suite of awards that's called the Minister's Awards for Creative Excellence. CASM fits in there along with some other. They have like a performing arts one. They have a visual arts and a few different categories to support. CASM is there specifically for grade 12 Nova Scotian graduates who are going on, who have already been accepted to post-secondary with a specific focus on continuing their music education.
Yeah. Okay.
And that could be whether they go to the NSCC Ivany campus,
FX, wherever
St. FX, anywhere. Yeah, I mean, Berkeley or I guess Humber in Toronto.
Sure.
As long as
So then every year, the fund. Do you support the fund? Is that how it works?
Yeah, I save up the money each year
Good for you.
from gigs or CD sales and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I wish it could be more, obviously, but because it is me saving it up. It just helps to offset a few expenses, kind of out of the gate.
And it's a great bit of volunteerism, I guess, in a way, right?
When I was younger and I watched that movie Pay It Forward, that was such a great movie on different levels. The concept of that, the idea of it, always resonated with me. And I mean, sure, when I was a kid and playing with Dad, or whether it was done something through the school, there was always avenues of volunteerism that you could do, and they're great. I think it's a invaluable life lesson for any musician starting out to spend some time doing any type of volunteer work. Like for a few years, I was on the board with Halifax Meals on Wheels, and would go out and deliver meals on a weekly basis. Right. And I think there's a calling that, to whatever degree musicians and artists can answer that call, I think it's incumbent to do that to the ability
Support
that
the
you
community.
can. Yeah, I mean,
I'm a firm believer in giving back to the community in different ways.
And I always wanted to. When I'm long gone from this earth, I want there to be something standing that I believe in, and I believe in the power of music. I believe in the power of music education. I believe that it's essential to have it in the school system as an equally vibrant part of learning. I mean, the clinical studies are there of what the power of music does on the brain. Yeah. And what it does for cognitive abilities and
all sorts of things. Yeah.
All of that goes back to, I think, of those foundational years of music in school, whether it's, at a Music for Young Children, which is a great program, right. Which I went through and my son went through when he was younger. So I was so thrilled to see that after all those years of me being through it, that it still existed. And, taking music lessons at a place like Long and McQuaid or at a music store or at someone's home, that's great. But in the school system, I think is also is such a key.
It makes it integral, right? If someone's going out to Long and McQuaid for a music lesson, that's great. But it's different than it's also money.
Yeah.
But it's also different than being integrated with all the other functions of a day-to-day thing. So it becomes more internalized to the community, to the culture, right? the music is in the school, and that's just like, well, people do math, people do science, people do phys ed, people do music.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It becomes part of the thing that we do.
So I love seeing that that's there, and so the applications as of right now are still open. They close at the like mid-April. I believe the deadline is April 13, which I believe is Friday that month. And so at like midnight on Friday the 13th.
Right. So for any Nova Scotian in this case.
Yeah. So if you're graduating from a Nova Scotia high school this year and you've been going through a music program at your high school, you can apply.
Okay.
And it's the link to all of that is on charlieacourt.com, and that will then launch you over to the Department of Education's portal, where you can put your application in and look at the criteria and that sort of thing.
And I know they have those kind of bursaries and scholarships in virtually every province. So, it behooves people to get out and shoot for them anyway.
I feel very fortunate that I'm here to see young students take advantage of it.
And you get to meet some of these people.
It's been great because
it must be fabulous.
It is fabulous because you see, when we get to the point when the recipients have been chosen, and you get to the presenting ceremony, and you see them in person, and you get to chat with them and find out about what it is that sparks them and what they're excited about, in the months to come, because they're starting university for the first time and they're excited for playing music on stage, and it's invigorating to see the beginnings of. It's like I'm seeing the beginnings of my career over again through their eyes.
See the fire in their eyes.
Oh, it's a wonderful experience. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
When I was a kid, and I still have pinings of this, but when I was a kid, I always wanted to open for Clapton. Like,
There you go.
I always wanted to open for Clapton. You know, I love his playing. I love when he's got the Strat cranked up and he just lets go. Oh man, there was something about the tone and the sustain of that and the ferocity of some of that playing.
That was my first concert.
Was it really?
Was before you were born. It was Cream. Oh. Yeah, it was Cream in the Edmonton Gardens. I guess it was the Gardens back in like '67, something like that. '68. I was a young kid. I was like 13 or something, right? And 12 or 13. My one brother took me to the concert.
Wow,
that was my first show.
What an impression that must have made. Yeah.
I mean, I'm still gobsmacked at the effect it had on me.
Yeah. Well, you know, and like I say, time waits for no one. And I see, you know, I'm not a young man anymore, but I'd like to think there's still quite a few miles in front of me. But I look at Clapton now, and he's in his late 70s. He's creeping up on 80, still touring, thank goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of folks still. That's the beauty of music, is you can do it on whatever platform or whatever level.
Yeah.
Until you die.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's who said that. Anyway, he had this great line where, you know, musicians never retire; they just play until they die. But why?
It's true.
For lots of practical reasons, I'm sure. But, you know, the essence of it, I think it's because it's so enjoyable.
Yeah.
You know, there's the pure, unfiltered joy of being able to play music, where not everyone can play music, and so there's, you know, it's kind of like it's like this secret garden of joy and expression. So I get that sentiment. And who knows? Maybe there's still an opportunity. Maybe you never know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll meet the right people, and they'll go, you know what? We should get you on a bill with Clapton. And I'll be like, yes, yes, I would like that. I would like that very much.
Yeah, pick me. Yeah.
And that's all, folks. Thanks for tuning in, and keep coming back. Appreciate your support.